Hi everyone, thanks for coming back for part 3. I'm just going to go on to the next table. In this one, I had added the words pit, open, and chaos. And chaos is actually the bottomless pit. It's the abyss. And I can explain that more in another video, but I just wanted to mention that here. But you see the word open over here in the green with the letters O, P, E, N. And you see pit is meshed in and shares the P in open. You see it in the yellow with the letters P, I, T. And then over here in the fuchsia, you have the word chaos with the letters C, H, A, O, S. And that would be the abyss or the bottomless pit. Okay, and this next one reads Obama, United Army, King, 7, trumpet, sound. And so over here you have 7 in the plain text, you have sound in the plain text in the yellow, and in the green you have the word trumpet. You have Obama here in the light red, right next to the word king. You have united over here in the lavender, going at in the pink, going at an angle. And then in the lavender you have the word army. This one reads Obama, United Army, King, window, Eden, which is the word in Hebrew for heaven, door, open. And so you have door over here, and it's sharing the O in open, which you see coming up in the green over here at an angle with the letters O, P, E, N. And then you have Eden meshed in with that as well with the letters E, D, E, N. Okay, so now I just want to show you another table, which I just did yesterday. I put in the word Obama, and then I put in the word Sukkot, which this is the spelling that it comes up with in this Bible code software, because it's spelled that way sometimes in the text, and this is the way that it comes up, the word Sukkot. And then I had put in Iran and Israel. And what happened is when I saw the matrix, I recognized it and remembered that that matrix was actually one of my tidal wave Bible codes. So then I just put in the word tidal wave as well. So I'm just going to go over these terms and then I'll read the matrix. And so you see Israel over here in the lavender. You see Sukkot in the pink. It's coming up in the plain text. And then you see the word tidal is actually sharing the T in Sukkot. So you see T, I, D, A, L. So you see tidal sharing the T in Sukkot. And then wave is over here in the green, the letters W, A, V, E. And then Iran is over here in the lavender with the letters I, R, A, N. And then you see Obama coming over here at an angle, the letters O, B, A, M, A. And these words like tidal wave, and you see cloud over here going through Obama, these could also be making reference to the swarms of armies that are going to go against Israel. If you've seen Natan's testimony, you'll see how it just all happens suddenly, and it'll be like swarms of armies, and that's how it's described in the Bible as well. And I'll just show you what I was talking about over here in Daniel 11:22. It says, and with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. So this is describing the Antichrist army coming as a flood. And then you see it again in Revelation 12. And of course this could be a literal flood with water, or it could be talking about an army. It's not very clear, but it says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And of course the Mount of Olives is going to split. I can talk about that some more later. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and mention it now, because at this rate I don't really know if I'll have time to mention it later. But over here in Ecclesiastes in 1:9 it says, the thing that hath been is the thing which will be, and that thing which is done is that which shall be done. There's nothing new under the sun. And then over here in Isaiah 43:19 it says, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And then over here it says in Numbers 16, but if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then shall ye understand that these men have provoked the Lord. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Satan's army when they go against Israel, when the Mount of Olives splits. Okay, so getting back to the table, you also see the word Baal right here sharing the A in Obama. So Obama has the word Baal crossing right through it. Okay, so now I'm going to read the matrix. It's coming up in Exodus 13, verses 18 through Exodus 14, verse 3. And it says, but God led the people about by the way of the wilderness, by the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up armed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Sukkot and encamped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. And Jehovah went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might go by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night departed not from before the people. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn back and encamp before Pihahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, before Baal-zephon, over against it shall ye encamp by the sea. And Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. So God was basically telling them to go between a rock and a hard place, except in this case that they were between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army. But when this happens again, they're going to be literally between a rock and a hard place, but the rock is going to split instead of the Red Sea. And that rock, of course, is Jesus. And I'll go ahead and explain that. I was going to do that in a separate video, but I'll just go ahead and explain it now. Okay, this is what Natan saw in his vision. It's basically what's recorded in Zechariah 14. It says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. The city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall be removed toward the north, and half of it toward the south. Okay, now I want to show you how that reads in the Greek. It says, and his feet will stand in that day on the mountain of Olives. Okay, just look this word up. It means it's across from Jerusalem on the east, and will be split. This word right here actually means torn. The mountain of Olives in half towards the east, and half of it towards the sea. Okay, if you look at a map of Israel, you see Jerusalem right here, and right here where it says Bethphage is where the Mount of Olives is. So it's right across from Jerusalem. And you see that on the west it is the sea, and to the east would be the Mount of Olives. Okay, so over here it says, and his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a great valley. Well, over here in the Greek, instead of saying towards the west, it says towards the sea. Right here it says sea. Okay, and this reminded me of Revelation 10, which is right before Revelation 11, that talks about the two witnesses, the two olive trees. And it says, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth. And he cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth, and when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are therein, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. So this is the beginning of eternity. But this is also the beginning of 3.5 years, because this is also depicted in Daniel 12, where it says, in that time shall Michael stand up. And then over here it says, and one said to the man clothed in linen, which is upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. So it's going to be for a time, times and a half, 3.5 years, but it's also going to be when there's time no more. See, if you put in images of Revelation 12, you get this image over here, and if you put in images for Daniel 12:7, you get this image over here, and he's quoting Revelation 10. It says, I swear by him that liveth forever and ever, that there should be time no longer. And so these are the images of Daniel 12:7, and then these are the images for Revelation 10, and you see over here how it's making a comparison of the two. So it's the same thing that's being described. It's also the same thing that's being described here in Zechariah 14:4, and I'm about out of time, so I'll have to continue in the next video. Thanks.